Hey guys, it's Bob again. It's Wednesday. I'm currently been getting ready for work, so this probably won't be that long of a video. It is June 7th at 3:22. It's fairly warm out. Again, nothing specific planned to talk about. Kind of been either busy or lazy like usual, and a lot of lazy, but trying to get into the groove of getting myself on a routine. It'd help if I got up earlier. I got up a little later today than I had intended to, but hey, I was tired. And I don't work until like 6 in the afternoon, so why not? So, good news is stuff I have planned to add to the channel. I've gotten a little bit more work done. Not a lot, it's still gonna be a little ways off, unfortunately. I gotta learn how to animate. I gotta get better at drawing on a tablet because that's what I use for everything. Don't have a computer at the moment. And figure out the animating software, or find an animation software for a tablet, because I don't know if the ones I downloaded are gonna do it. I've been in a fairly good mood today. I've run out of things to talk about apparently. That's good for today. I'm gonna go to work and my brain's gonna wander all over, even with my Adderall apparently. I don't know if I already said it, but it's fairly warm outside. Sky is pretty clear. That's Arizona. It's only supposed to get warmer. I realized last night it was actually probably close to 9 or 10 o'clock. The sun was still out. Time flies. I don't know how well you guys can see me with the light, but hey, can't do much about it right now. So, what to talk about? Haven't had too much new happening. I am looking into a couple of things to kind of supplement my income. Did get a few more hours this week, so that's good. Actually got 3 days, so I'm happy about that. I work tonight, tomorrow, and then Saturday. I'm gonna have to start looking at ways to get some side income to kind of save up money. I've got to buy a plane ticket back to Indiana here soon because I gotta go by the beginning of July. I have a wedding to be in. I'm a groomsman. My friend loved him to death, but I think he may have made a bad choice. No, I'm kidding. I wouldn't do anything to mess. Oh shit! Didn't mean to do that. Wouldn't do anything to mess up his wedding or anything like that. I'm actually very excited. The girl he has is, I think, honestly really good for him. Gonna iron out some of them rough edges. Yeah, I am still smoking, which I have tried a few times to quit. It seems like I can make it till it gets dark outside, so it's most of the day. But once it gets dark, it's like I just have to have like 10 cigarettes. Probably because that's where I've spent most of my time smoking, is at night. From working and going home and it's dark and sitting in the dark, watching TV, playing video games, and smoking. Wow, I don't know why I have such like a game show host demeanor going on. That's crazy. Probably because I'm in a really good mood, and actually really glad that I managed to remember this before I went to work today, because I almost forgot twice. Yes, that's how my brain works. I'll remember it while I'm in the middle of doing something, like, alright, I'll do that once I get done, and then 5 seconds later, I forgot what I was supposed to remember. I usually try to keep a notepad on me and a pen, but when I get up in the morning and I'm in the middle of eating, I don't even think about that. I know what I'll talk about. I kind of let my emotions get the better of me earlier this week. Not a great thing. I actually went off on somebody close to me over nothing. I thought they were going to say something, and they said something completely different. And I should have let them finish talking, but it's about a subject that I've dealt with a lot and get very defensive about. Sexuality. I am bisexual, which I'm sure I've mentioned before, but in case I didn't, there you go. I came out about 17, 18, my senior year of high school, late junior year, somewhere around there. And the thing is, like, I think a lot of people on both sides of the fence, whether you're heterosexual, homosexual, bisexual, or something else, but especially heterosexual, homosexual, I've noticed, tend to forget. Bi people deal with a lot of shit from both sides, and it's not a good thing. I mean, honestly, I don't think people should get shit for almost anything that doesn't hurt. Well, for anything that doesn't hurt anybody, including themselves. I mean, if you're doing something that's hurting you, you're hurting other people too, because they care about you. But I mean, sexuality. Like, I'll just say it straight. I've had plenty of people close to me, or even not so close to me, say things they don't even realize is biphobic. And it's not, I get it. Like, I grew up with people who commonly called each other fag as a insult that didn't really mean much, unless you were like actually in a fight sort of deal, or argument, not fight. But usually it was just thrown around casually. I get people say things without even thinking about it. Trust me, I do it a lot myself. Most of the shit that comes out of my mouth is said without thinking. And that's where I get most of my problems. And that's also kind of what happened the other day, but that was because I was defensive. And I'm not going to say who this person was, because it doesn't matter. The fact is they said something, and like, were pretty dismissive about my views with sexuality, and then on top of it, got very defensive themselves because they're homosexual, and it was dealing with a bullshit comment on Facebook, which was geared towards one of their friends, I believe. And honestly, you shouldn't freak out about stuff people say on Facebook if nobody really knows the person that well anyway. Screw it, who cares? But I understand. But this person seems to have, I guess, not realized, yes, homosexual people go through a lot of crap, and I feel very bad for them about it. Like, they shouldn't have to go through that, And yes, it is, when they're with somebody in a relationship or even just on a date, it can be much more noticeable than if, say, a bisexual person's on a date with somebody of the opposite sex. You're not going to realize, oh, that person, isn't heterosexual. And that was basically the gist of it. Basically telling me, oh yeah, well, it doesn't really matter. Basically telling me it doesn't matter because you can just date a woman and nobody will know. You won't get weird looks. Okay, first off, that's not always the case, okay? But that's more personal preference. I tend to date weirdos like myself. But apart from that, a lot of people don't seem to realize when you're bisexual, you tend to, you have to prove yourself to both communities. I mean, not all the time, but, gay people, and I know a lot of them don't even mean to be disrespectful or biphobic, and there are a lot of them out there who are really good people and don't give a shit what you are. But there are a lot of myths with them as far as bisexual people. I'm not going to go into. You can find whole videos about that. But you constantly, as a bisexual person, have to prove your sexuality, it seems. When heterosexual or gay, you know, I'm not going to say you'd never have to do that, because I'm sure there are situations where you feel as if you do. But it's not questioned as much, I don't feel. Being a bisexual, I've had gay people say or infer that, well, you're not bisexual, you're not with men very often, so there's no way you like men. And it's like, no, that's not the case. Like, I don't have to show that I'm gay enough for, like, I constantly, and I shouldn't have to feel this way, and, you know, a lot of times I try to brush off, but I feel like I have to prove I'm gay enough to be bi in the gay community. And, you know, I'm sorry, I realize I'm making it sound like I'm singling out the gay community. I am not. I am not. The gay community is amazing. There are a lot of great people, and it's not just them I get shit from. It really isn't. It just kind of relates to the whole situation, I guess. I mean, heterosexual people constantly, oh, well, that's just a phase, you know, you're just confused, you don't know what you want, or, you know, you just want to have sex with everybody. And it's like, well, first off, I can't have sex with everybody, because not everybody's into me. Not everybody's, you know, into guys if they're a guy, or, you know, there are people who will flat out tell you, I am not going to date you because you might date a guy if we break up, or I'm afraid you'll cheat on me with a guy, and, or vice versa. And it's ridiculous. It really is. I mean, I get it, I understand, it's strange, a lot of people don't understand it, and I'm sure pansexuals get the same sort of shit. I'm not just sure, I know they do. I've seen plenty of posts on it. And if you're not, you know, if it's not obvious as to who you date, or what you look for in somebody physically, or even emotionally, like, it can be stressful trying to relate it to people and dealing with things they say, whether it's intentional to be mean or it's just simply out of, you know, ignorance. I mean, I don't personally like to use that word, but it's much better than stupidity, because stupidity is more negative. Ignorance is just not knowing something. I personally just don't like to use it because my mom used it as an insult a lot growing up. Not towards me. My mom wasn't verbally abusive. It's just, just hearing her use it about people, I don't like the word. Now that I've gone off on that tangent, though, really what I was planning to aim for, not so much the biphobic part, was emotions and taking them out on other people. I personally have experienced verbal abuse. I have friends who have experienced verbal abuse. I don't just mean like at work somebody saying something mean to try and hurt your feelings. I mean like actually dealing with it day in and day out, and it sucks. And you know, it comes down to a lack of being able to cope with your own issues properly, or cope, not cape, sorry. Coping skills are a big thing, and I failed. I did. I mean, don't get me wrong, I went and apologized and explained to them what happened, and I sincerely apologized. You know, made it very clear I was sorry for going off on them, and it had nothing to do with them. Well, 99% had nothing to do with them. I did have to tell them a couple of things that, anyway, that doesn't matter. The point is I made a mistake. I fucked up. It's one thing to make your feelings clear and to let somebody know that the way they talk around you or to you is not okay. It's another thing to become defensive and lash out before you even know what they're about to say. And I get it, you get to know people and you think you know what they're going to say, but sometimes, a lot of times they surprise you. And even if you know what they're going to say, you can't just go off on them. You have to try to be mature and speak to them. Just going off on them does nothing besides upset people and make them mad and make them less likely to hear you. And that's not going to help the situation. And like, even though I apologized and they apologized because they were going off on me too like that, and we made up, I still feel like shit for it, because it made me realize I don't always have as good control over how I come across to people as I mean to. Like, I understand, people just lose their temper, and that's fine. And, you can't control your emotions. They are what they are. But I thought I had gotten to a point to where I had become very good at communicating with people about my emotions, and I thought I was starting to develop better boundaries with people, because my boundaries are all kinds of fucked up, and I have a hard time saying no, and I have a hard time expressing myself, and I thought I was getting so much better at that. And in this situation, I expressed myself when I felt I should express myself, but I went about it wrong. I did. And it just made me realize I still have a long road to go. And while it sucks that I did that, it's helped me start to realize I have a lot more work to do to straighten out my life even better. Because I'm starting to straighten it out, yes, but I have a lot more work to do. And while it was a shit thing to happen and a horrible experience that I wish hadn't happened, I cannot. I'm glad that I was aware enough of it to now be able to look back and use it as a learning tool, that I need to learn to cope with these issues I have on the topic, and communicate them better, not just start a fight, basically start an argument over nothing. And it's a learning experience. And I guess that's all I really wanted to say, was that things may fucking go wrong. You may think you have control or not, or gotten better at something, and then turn around and smack straight into the wall, basically. And that sucks. But after the experience is done, look back, see where you messed up, and learn. As these people I keep trying to learn from, who are successful now and have decided to do the amazing work of giving back to people about how to get where they're at, how to get to their level. You're gonna fall, you're gonna fail, and you're gonna fuck up big time a lot throughout life. But what you can't do is lay on the ground and just decide that's it, that's where I'm staying. And even if you decide to get back up, you still have to look at what you tripped over and learn from it. Learn how to not trip over it again. And we're human. That's literally how we learn. I mean, hell, how many times have people failed at inventing something before they got it right? And when they did that, it wasn't, I failed, they didn't look at it as, oh, I fucked up, I failed, I can't do it, I should just quit. They looked at it and go, alright, well, that's not how you get a metal boat to float, so let's try it this way. Or what, why didn't my I'm sorry, I kind of flatlined on ideas of examples. Like, like the people looked at their failures and like, all right, why didn't that work? Oh, wait, I missed this, or this shouldn't have been here. I need to take that out and it'll work, or it'll work better. We learn from experience and failure. So we need to not be afraid to fail and to look at it and pull it apart and just be like, all right, this is how I fix it. This is what I do next. And this video is already at like 21 minutes, so before I ramble on any longer, because I do still have a lot of things to do before work, because like I said, I got up late and I put stuff off. I'm gonna stop rambling, and if you've watched this far, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I'm not sure why you like to listen to me ramble, but on that note, like I've been trying to say after all my videos, if you have a positive attitude, you're gonna have a positive day, and trust me, it's true. It really is. So thanks, guys. See you next week.